Hey, Tamika here. It's Monday and we are live at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Eek! I'm really excited about today. And I am really enjoying going live. And for those of you who are new to my page, make sure that you comment below, tell me where you're from. And I help moms that are self-motivated be able to win in their life with simple tools to create confidence, consistency, all while being a present mom. And my kids are in school, so that's definitely helpful. And I get to work while they are gone. So that way when they're home, I'm totally all theirs. And today, this live that I'm doing actually is kind of like a homework assignment for myself. Me and my team are going to be doing some challenges, and this is kind of like a sneak peek into what they're going to do tomorrow. And so I just wanted to come live and share the message with everybody. And so whether you are part of a business or have friends that are part of businesses, or maybe you've had some experience as far as finding something that works really well for you and you want to share it with other people, this is going to be a tool that you can use in your own life. Okay, so we're going to keep this sweet, simple, to the point, nice and short. Basically, facts tell, stories sell. We all know that. Okay, drop that in the comments. Facts tell, stories sell. And if you think about it, if somebody lists off a whole bunch of things that their product or service or company has or does, that's all good and great, but you don't really care because what does it matter to you, right? Like, you want to be able to connect, you want to be able to relate in order to make a purchase or commitment decision. Am I right? So facts tell, stories sell. There is 5 parts to a story, in my opinion, that you should make sure that you have. All right. But before you start into those 5 things, you want to know your audience. You want to know who you're talking to. You want to know who you are trying to appeal to. So is it men, women, both, certain age, certain problem or issue that they're dealing with? Is it location of where they are? Is it, I mean, so many different things, right? And they say that if you try to sell or appeal to everyone, then you are going to sell and appeal to no one. Okay. And so I always kind of thought to myself, well, like, I just want to keep the umbrella big. I just want to like keep it nice and broad. That way, those that want it can come to me. But when it comes down to it, if you keep it super broad, then you didn't appeal to anybody. And so nobody is coming to you. Okay. So first thing you want to do is know your audience and know that when you're sharing a story, you can share the same story in multiple ways, multiple times throughout the week, throughout the month. And so just because you share it one way, one time, doesn't mean that you can never do it again. Okay. It's always a good idea to talk about different points, because when we have an experience in life, there are a lot of moving facets to it. So, you may be in the moment right now and have certain feelings. And then a few days later, a few weeks later, you look back on it and then you have different feelings, or it created a chain reaction of different events that now, you have new experiences to talk about. And so it's very important to be specific and to know who you want to connect with in the story that you're sharing in this moment now, and then knowing that you can always share another side to it later. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the 5 steps to storytelling. And I want you guys to drop a 5 in the comments for a virtual high 5, because I'm about to give you some pretty awesome value here. Okay, so the first thing is I like to do a first line hook. Like, I like to say something that is like kind of like that triggers you, or that makes you say, okay, I've experienced that, or I need that, or I want that, or I can relate to that, like right at the beginning. Okay. So some kind of like hook headline to get people to want to read more. Now, the secret is I don't write the hook or the headline until I'm done with the whole entire post. So while that is the first thing, hey, Sophie, well, that is the first thing, it's actually the last thing that I add, like the finishing touch, the cherry on the very top. Okay, so we'll get to that. We'll go back to that. Okay, then the second feature in sharing your story is sharing where it all started. So my my hook kind of is like in the middle of the story. Like it kind of like it's either like the ending or like the middle of it. And so it's like, have you ever like read those books or watched the movies where it's like, I don't even know how I ended up here, and they're describing where they ended up, but then they go back in time and then they like talk about where it all started. So it's kind of like the vibe that I like. So the hook grabs their attention, and then the second piece is, where did it all start? So what was going on in your life when you kind of realized that something wasn't right the way that it needed to be? And then number three, I always like to share the exact moment, the straw that broke the camel's back. Okay, so that's number three. So so your hook line, where it all started, the straw that broke the camel's back. So that minute, that moment when you knew something had to change and you weren't willing to continue the path that you were on, that moment. Okay. And I feel like that's the most powerful moment, because that's what set your life in a totally different trajectory, whether for the good or for the bad. Right. Number four is what you found and how it solved your problem. So you hit this breaking point, you have the straw that broke the camel's back, and what you were willing to give a chance to, what you were willing to try, what you found. Okay. And then the last thing is your call to action. So if you are trying to sell or promote something, a service, a product, a business, anything like that, then what do you want people to do with this information? Because you can share a really great story and you can end it with the end, but that's not ultimately what you want. And so you want to call those people out. So if you can relate to this, drop a heart. If you agree, type amen. If you want more info, let's connect. And tell them how to connect with you. There's more information in the link in my bio. Drop this keyword, text this keyword, reach out to me in a personal message, but giving people a call to action. Because a lot of times what happens is people read something and they're like, okay, that's great for you, but they don't think it's for them. And so you want to make sure that when you're ending your story, that you're telling them what to do next. Okay. And some people will take action, some people won't. But when you're consistent with your storytelling, it makes people feel more comfortable, more connected to you. And so when they're ready, they will reach out. Okay. So I actually wrote my story to be able to share with you an example of me putting this into action. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it up right here. You guys are going to hear my story. Okay. So here it goes. I never wanted to live paycheck to paycheck. I worked way too freaking hard for that. I went to college, I got my bachelor's degree, I landed a job in a respectable career, and I had all intentions of working until I was the age of 65, where I could retire and start living the life of freedom that they promised me. But then things changed. I got very depressed and I was anxious all the time. I gained a lot of weight. I dreaded waking up every morning. My heart broke every time I had to leave my son. And I was working more and more and enjoying life less and less. It was Christmas break of 2014 when I told my husband I just couldn't do it anymore. We had a 1-year-old at the time, and we were hoping to get pregnant with baby number 2. And it just didn't make sense for me to keep working when I was basically putting my whole teacher check towards daycare. So I needed to find something that I could do where I would be able to work from home between nap times, feeding times, tummy time, right? I needed to find something that would help me both physically and mentally, because like I said, I was not in a good place. And honestly, I wanted friends and connections. I was afraid of being a stay-at-home mom because I would completely lose myself. Plus, I wanted to show my kids that I can do anything that I set my mind to. And if I can, they can too. So I started a home business, and it changed everything. And I cannot be the only one who feels this way, that wants more out of life. And you don't have to stay on the hamster wheel of feeling miserable and dreading the days that go by. There is a better way, and I found it. Let's connect if you're open to learning more about it. Just like that, right? So what did I do there? I started with my hook, and my hook came at the very end. Okay, so as I typed up that whole thing, the thing that stood out to me the most was I didn't want to live paycheck to paycheck, because that's a true story. My growing up, we lived paycheck to paycheck. Money was always tight. And I knew that I didn't want that life. And so I thought I did everything right. I went to school. I got a job teaching high school math. I coached soccer so I could make some extra income. My husband had a great job. We literally worked the 9 to 5, or in my case, it was 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. life of what we were supposed to do. And so to work so hard, to go to school, to get this job, just to give it all up, to struggle again, wasn't something that I wanted to do. So after I typed up my whole thing, the hook line that I wanted to connect with people the most was living paycheck to paycheck. So I put that there at the top. Now, who's my target audience here? My target audience is honestly stay-at-home moms that want more out of life, that aren't happy with their bodies, that aren't happy with their financial situations, that aren't happy with their mental health, that don't have a lot of friends, but want to be connected to people that are kind of like losing themselves, right? Like that's not who I was, but that's who I didn't want to be when I became a stay-at-home mom. And I knew that I had to find something to change it, right? So that was my first line. And then where did it all start? It all started when I got a job teaching, and I wasn't eating the best. With teaching, there's a lot of drama that happens between parents and students and administration and political stuff. And it just was all weighing on me more and more and more. And I was working more hours, and I wouldn't say I was getting paid less, because I wasn't getting paid. I mean, I was getting paid for the work I was putting in, but I was enjoying my life less and less because I was having to work more and more in order to perform and do well in my career, right? And so the straw that broke the camel's back, honestly, was during Christmas break. I just looked at my husband and I said, I can't continue to do this anymore. My choices are I keep working and I'm miserable, or I quit and we live paycheck to paycheck. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And it was like, okay, I'm going to choose to live paycheck to paycheck because I don't know of what else we can do. Maybe I can babysit other kids. Maybe I can start tutoring math at home. Maybe I could do cello lessons. Maybe I can like learn how to crochet and make stuff. Like I didn't know what to do. Right. And then an opportunity came around, which seemed to have the answer to everything that I needed. It was a way that I could make money from home that was flexible. It was aligned with what I wanted for my own personal health and wellness products that could help me lose weight, help me stay fit and feel good. I saw other people in the companies that I watched online have friends, get to travel, have that connection piece, people that were turning complete strangers into best friends on social media. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool, and then ultimately I needed a way that I could make money and feel like I was making an impact. I became a teacher because I enjoyed teaching, because I liked seeing that light bulb click on, because I wanted to show these young students that they could get it, they could do it. And, and it transferred into this business that I can show moms that they can do this. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter your health, your wealth, your mental status. Like if you're just willing to grow, then you can be successful here. And so, at the end, my call to action is I can't be the only one that's feeling this way. And I would hope that anybody who is feeling this way and feeling stuck and needing a solution would connect. So I just said, let's connect. And if you're interested in learning about more, let's connect. So those are the 5 steps: stories, sell, stay away from those facts, tell people exactly where it all started, the straw that broke the camel's back, what you found and how you solved it, your call to action. And then after you have all that written down, go back through what part really stood out to you and make that your beginning hook. So I hope this was helpful. If you found value, make sure to comment below. If you're not already following me, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. And if you click the link in my bio, you can get subscribed to my weekly emails and join my Get Fit Club. All right. Okay.